1. The glitch in the bedrock. A player discovers a hole in the world that leads not to the void, but to a, quote, beta version of the game. They have to survive using old-school mechanics to find their way back to the modern version. 2. The last villager. An iron golem wakes up to find its village deserted. It teams up with a stray ocelot to trek across different biomes to find where the villagers and the, quote, player who built them disappeared to. 3. The Enderman who couldn't teleport. A comedy-focused story about an Enderman named Barnaby who is afraid of the dark and can't teleport. He has to walk the long way through the overworld to get back to the end. How should we build this? Feature option A, player-centric. Option B, mob-centric. Protagonist, a newcomer or a veteran player, a sentient mob, zombie, creeper, etc. Primary goal, defeating the dragon / building a kingdom. Understanding the user's tone. Epic and action-packed. Whimsical or mystery. The echo in the chunks. The sun was a perfect square, hanging low over a jagged mountain biome. Kale adjusted his iron chestplate, the weight of it familiar and grounding. He had spent 300 days in this world, mapping every cavern and taming every wolf. But today, the world felt off. He stood at the edge of a massive ravine. At the very bottom, half buried in deep slate, was a structure that didn't match any village or stronghold architecture he'd ever seen. It was made of crying obsidian and glass, pulsing with a faint, rhythmic violet light. The discovery. As Kale descended his cobblestone staircase, his subtitles flickered in the corner of his vision. He reached the base and touched the glass. Instead of the cold hardness of a block, his hand passed right through. On the other side wasn't a cave, it was a forest, but the leaves were white and the grass was a deep, bruised purple. "This isn't a biome," Kale whispered to the empty air. "This is a corruption." Suddenly, his chat log scrolled rapidly with gibberish text, ending in a single, clear sentence. "You weren't supposed to find the source." What happens next? To keep building this world, we need to decide Kale's next move. Which path should he take? Option 1. He steps through the glass into the corrupted source world to investigate the mysterious player_000. Option 2. He tries to wall off the ravine to keep the corruption from spreading to his home base. Option 3. A mob from the other side, something that looks like a creeper but behaves differently, starts to climb out. Appearance. Wears a tattered, faded leather tunic. Her skin occasionally flickers with static, revealing a classic 2010-era Steve model underneath. Tool of choice. A glitch pickaxe. It's translucent and emits the same violet light as the crying obsidian. Personality. Fast-talking, paranoid, and highly knowledgeable about illegal game mechanics, like bedrock breaking or chunk loading. The story continues. Kale backed away from the pulsing glass, his sword drawn. Just as he turned to run back up the stairs, a shadow detached itself from the darkness of a nearby alcove. "I wouldn't go back up there if I were you," a voice rasped. It sounded like two audio files playing at once. A girl stepped into the light of Kale's torch. She looked like a player, but her movements were jerky, as if her frame rate was capped. Around her neck hung a compass, but the needle wasn't pointing north. It was spinning wildly in circles. "Who are you?" Kale demanded, his shield raised. "And what is the source?" The girl looked at the violet portal and winced. "I'm Echo, and if you go back to your base now, you'll bring the corruption with you. See those subtitles?" She pointed to his HUD. The text was still scrolling. 12%. "The game thinks you're a bug, Kale," Echo said, finally looking him in the eye. Her eyes weren't the standard brown. They were glowing hex codes. And when the game finds a bug, it runs a delete command. If you want to keep your world, and your life, you have to come with me into the source. We're going to find the dev room. What do we do now? Kale has a choice to make, and Echo is waiting for an answer. How should they proceed? Option A. Kale trusts Echo and they both jump into the violet portal to find the dev room. Option B. Kale is suspicious and demands Echo prove she isn't a ghost or a virus first. Option C. A corrupted warden begins to emerge from the floor, forcing them to stop talking and start fighting. Would you like me to write the action scene for one of these? Or would you like to give Echo a different special ability? Let's go with option C. The stakes just got a lot higher, and Kale is about to find out that corrupted mobs are much scarier than the standard ones. The Warden of the Code. The ground didn't just shake. It vibrated at a frequency that turned the cobblestone.